Hey folks, thank you all for tuning in. You know, the world is so screwed up these days, it makes my head spin. And I mean, literally spin, like that girl in The Exorcist. But then I like when things are crazy. Something good comes out of exhaustion. I am, my friends, an optimist. I'm one of those people who, after getting beaten and mugged, would say, well, at least they didn't have a club with nails in it. So here's to craziness and optimism. Let's begin this episode of Globetrotting for Gossip with some music. I'm Atul Mishra. Let's talk about Asia first. Kids ask all sorts of funny questions. Daddy, why does the dog lick his own butt? Daddy, where do babies come from? The last one is particularly tricky. But adults, it seems, ask funnier questions like, why can't all gods be called Allah? Yeah, that's a legit question. Kuala Lumpur's choice to drop an appeal in the Allah usage dispute has drawn the eye of Islamic groups. Malaysia has been mulling over using Allah for the gods in other religions too. Islamists don't want it. Maintaining inter-ethnic balance is now as tricky as arranging a vegan dinner at a steakhouse. I come from India and our dear neighbor is Pakistan. Pakistan is a lovely, lovely country where the prime ministers either get shot dead or deported or they simply disappear to make way for the army. I mean, Indians don't get spooked by such developments anymore. But I'm sure some of you must be interested in military coup kind of pointless gossip. So here it is. In Indonesia, the military is slipping into bureaucracy as naturally as a chameleon on a green leaf. The prospect of diluting presidential authority has everyone on edge, with Defense Minister Prabowo Subianto questioning the change as if he has been told to eat pizza with a fork. You have pens, they have guns. What can you do? Ordinance them dead? Getting a dog is like inviting a permanent toddler into your house. It's all fun and games until you're out in the yard 6 a.m. in your pajamas begging this dog to poop so you can go back to bed finally. Also, after a certain period of time, the dog colonizes your home, sits in the sofa, sleeps in the bed, pees in the study. Russia has committed the same mistake. It has invited China to Vladivostok. China will now ship commodity products from Jilin province to its southern coastal cities through Vladivostok in a bid to show its strengthening economic ties with Russia amid Western sanctions. The problem is that China doesn't know when to get out. And the sad part is that China has always considered Vladivostok as its own territory. Good luck, Russia. Let's talk about Europe now. Did you ever realize how schools were obsessed with teaching us cursive writing? They made it sound like this was the vital skill we would need for our entire lives. I mean, seriously, when was the last time you used cursive? Similarly, elderlies at old dictator homes teach kids the art of amassing and consolidating power as if they are going to get a shot at dictatorship again. But wait, Giorgia Meloni is attempting to craft a new Italian constitution to amass more power, as casually as changing a morning coffee order. Okay, the apple hasn't fallen far from the tree, but a disclaimer. We at TFIGlobal are big fans of Meloni, not Mussolini. So I hope Meloni proves this conjecture wrong. And speaking of cursive writing, I think I have used Coulomb's law more than I have used cursive writing. And I have used Coulomb's law never. On to France. France is assembling a nuclear alliance, shocking Germany and attracting 16 plus nations to join in. Macron, with his secret forces, appears to have started a nuclear rock band, and everyone's eager to audition. Come on, you. Life is full of unspeakable horrors, and I, for one, choose to speak about them. It's like being at a haunted house. You can either run away screaming or you can make the ghost your roommate. And let's face it, roommates can be way scarier than any ghost. So dump your green agenda and embrace your French friends. You've heard of this thing called micro-cheating. It's this new term people have come up with. Apparently, it's when you like someone's photo on Instagram or you laugh too hard at someone's joke Really dark, sinister stuff like that counts as micro-cheating. Hungary has fallen prey to the phenomenon of micro-cheating as well. Hungary, let me make clear, isn't very hostile towards Ukraine. Hungary also vetoed EU's $500 million reconstruction package to Ukraine. Ukraine will remain a sad, sad country until they get rid of Zelensky, who I am sure is not a micro but a macro cheater. Like he has a second family in some other country, or who knows, he is the president of some nondescript island in the South Pacific. The possibilities of macro cheating are endless. Consequences are a strange thing. They're like the universe's boomerang. You throw something out there and you think it's gone, but then it comes back and whacks you in the head when you least expect it. You skip a gym session, you can't climb a flight of stairs without wheezing. You binge watch shows all night, you doze off during an important meeting. You forget to charge your phone overnight, you are stuck in the middle of nowhere without GPS. You criticize Putin in a pro-Russia nation and suddenly you are in deep political shit. Looks like I just talked about Moldova. Pro-Russian sentiments in Moldova's Gagazau are mounting as President Sandu faces criticism. It's like she is being asked to perform magic to prevent a repeat of the Transnistria incident. Sandu is no magician, and a world of political oblivion awaits her. Consequences. What would be the worst superpower? There can be many, but I have a special favorite. The art of coming up with the perfect rebuttal 4 hours after you need it. But thankfully, Indian foreign minister isn't one with that superpower. Joseph Borrell tried to grill him over importing Russian crude to India and even invoked the dreaded sanction word. Jaishankar opened EU's rules and regulations book, read out the passage that perfectly allowed such an action, and then slammed the book shut, a minister's equivalent of a mic drop. The result was a lot of stammering and stuttering on the part of the authorities of the European Union. In India, we call Jaishankar Chad Shankar because the man has perfected the art of roasting EU and the US in the politest tone and in the choicest words. Let's talk about North America now. Nukes, they are like a really angry dog that you keep as a pet. You can't let it off the leash because it might bite someone, but you can't get rid of it because then you won't have an angry dog anymore. So now you're stuck walking this angry dog every day, hoping it doesn't notice that squirrel over there and drag you into World War III. But US, it seems, is pointing the dog towards the squirrel. US is refurbishing older M1 Abrams tanks for Ukraine and reminding everyone it has nuclear weapons ready. Deep state and its sinister motives. Dear Americans, how did you guys end up with the best people and the worst governments? So you go to a restaurant, eat a big meal, and then when the bill comes, you just shrug and say, sorry, I'm defaulting on this. Don't do this, right? But countries do this all the time. A country can default on its debts. Imagine if you tried that, like, yeah, I know I owe you that money, but I've decided I'm just not going to pay. I am going to default. Suddenly, you're not invited to any more big ticket galas. US has its own money printing press, also known as the Federal Reserve, that prints money on demand to save it from defaulting. But the printer has run out of ink and looks like the US is going to default on its debts. What next? US President not invited to Prince Andrew's coronation. That will be a strange new world. Quid pro quo is everywhere, guys. It's everywhere. Ever try to get out of a family dinner? You say, sorry, I can't make it, and your mother says, but I birthed you. That's quid pro quo. Or what about at work? If you stay late tonight, we'll let you leave early on Friday. Quid pro quo. Even dogs understand it. Give me a treat and I won't chew up on your shoes. Quid pro quo. Now there's another case of quid pro quo gathering steam. Former acting CIA director Mike Morell has claimed that Biden's campaign helped discredit reports about Hunter Biden. Amazing, Mr. Morell. And we do know that the CIA did exactly that. So what did it get in return? Only foreplay? No sex? That's cruel, Mr. Morell. Back in the day, if you wanted to find out someone's secrets, you had to do some serious detective work. You had to dig through their trash or follow them around or at least put in some efforts. Now just the clicks and boom, that's their whole life on display. And that's exactly what NDP did to Alberta Premier Danielle Smith. The Alberta NDP tweeted her location like they were sharing a hot deal on Black Friday and let the protesters loose on the Alberta Premier. She could have been killed, or maybe that was the plan all along. Let's talk about Africa now. Fiat currency, it's like the ultimate because I said so of economics. Why is this paper worth something? Because we said so. Who came up with this? I guess one day Richard Nixon looked at a shiny piece of gold and a piece of paper and said, yeah, too heavy, let's just use the paper. Well, Zimbabwe is not having any of it. Zimbabwe, defying IMF, is launching a gold-backed cryptocurrency, like unveiling a golden goose at the farmer's market. USA's fiat regime is crashing so fast that it's apparently a global revolution. Thanks for listening, everybody. And remember, just because life gives you lemons, it doesn't mean you have to make lemonade. Sometimes it's okay to just say, what the hell life, I asked for whiskey on the rocks. I have been Atul Mishra. I hope you had as little fun as I did. Bye.